the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Yeah, we'll dedicate that to my boy, Adam. Kim Princess, really good to see you. Charlene, excellent. Glad you're here. Linda Martin, what's up? Carol, hey, Carol, I thought a lot about last week's show, and you had asked a question about entities. I've got a more detailed, uh, some more detailed information to give you about that if you would be interested. And just email me either at or brianlar@gmail.com, or the wizard at wizardofoz.com. Either one. But get in touch with me. I think I've got a couple things that might be useful. And I have a couple questions for you too. Yeah. Linda says, always love this poem. You're welcome. It's a good one. It really is. All right. Yeah, before we get started tonight, as always, I want to thank my sponsors, my good friend at friedokra.tv, entertainment.tv, Ernie Mosteller, just an angel keeping us afloat. Check out his Instagram page, Ernie Mosteller, and check out some of his work. Leave him some comments. Tell him thanks for keeping us going. And my good friend Audrey Asciutto here in Sebring, who runs Audrey's Place, a really killer bed and breakfast right on the circle here in Sebring. Awesome place to stay. Thanks both to my angels. And I have a silent angel that I don't really bring up very often because he doesn't like it. But I'm going to bust him out because it's his birthday this week. And that's my good friend, many lifetimes friend, Brannon. When I met him, he was a 22-year-old cocky little smartass, and I started calling him Brat Boy, and that wound up being my moniker for him for the rest of our lives. So happy birthday, my brother! I hope you have many, 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 many more. Evelyn, welcome. Let's see. All right. So tonight's really kind of a special night. It's actually the anniversary of the first time I had Kelly on my show, which was the Angel Channel back then. We hadn't started our relationship here on the Sacred Spiral Network. And it was just a really auspicious, and like the universe kind of made that happen. And it turned out that the day before, which is now the anniversary today, my son passed away. And I really thought about canceling the show, and wound up jumping on, and Kelly and I were going to talk about numbers, and it sort of became about that. And we did a really crazy ritual, sending them off to the light. I just wanted to, well, first of all, let me bring Kelly on, man, the spiral goddess herself. How you doing, girlfriend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, just talking about, just reminiscing a little bit about last year, and I've learned a lot. Like, I've lost so many people, man. My whole blood family, pretty much, I lost many decades ago, and now I'm at the age where the people I replaced them with my adopted family. Most of those guys are going to the next realm as well. So, hey, Colin, welcome, man. Glad you could make it. Late
Thank
there.
you for having me on. Thank you for
Oh,
having me on. My goodness, I know there's so much change going on. My goodness.
so we really celebrated Adam last year, and here I've got some images. So we did a crazy, yeah, here we go. We did a really crazy group meditation, and we all gathered our energy. And um, he was in kind of a really fuzzy, like he didn't know where he was, and it was really confusing and kind of scary. So that night on the show, we all gathered our energy, gathered our like really got super bright, all in our light bodies, had them come in a circle in the center of the circle and blasted them off up to the light. And it was a really profound experience for me, and I know it really worked. And my good friend Grace, my good friend Grace did a reading for me the next day, and 9 that morning she calls me up and she's like, she didn't even say hello. She was just like, he showed up about 3:30, blah, 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 and gave me all these really specifics about conversations we'd had and moments that were like benchmark moments for like teaching him how to ride his bike and what happened with that. And it was just really super intense and specific, went on for a long time as well. And it was just a really glorious time. And I've kind of been thinking about that the last few days. And you know, I've had so much practice working through my grief that I've got it down to kind of an area where it's like it's a process for me now. And you know, Adam is like losing a kid. It doesn't like that's one of the most intense things you can do. But the thing about the grief, the deep grief for me, and I'm only to you know everybody deals with it in their own mode, but as I noticed it, like that hand on you when it's really super intense, you know, I'm really grieving for myself and missing like that interaction and what I was getting with and from that person while they were here in the physical part of me, and the fact that it was so final was really like it made me feel really helpless. But I realized that we're not helpless at all. And that every time that you send energy to them for their elevation, for their evolution, for their journey to the light, that you're sending them, you're actually helping them on that plane. And I realized that my own grief was so intense sometimes that I would be hanging on to them and sort of tethering them and they weren't going on where they needed to go. So I really tried to turn that around, and that worked out really, really great. So anyway, the night that we did the ritual, I was super, super hyped, man. I was just energized to the max. So I wanted to channel some light paintings representing sending him off. So this was sort of gathering him together and everybody like starting to charge up and really getting ready to blast. And this last one, oh, I love this one so much. It was just like the blast off up to the light. And this is such a joyous, happy, incredible image for me. And every time I start to go down, yeah.
It looks like a scarab beetle.
Well, actually, this is several layers of angels that are all with him. It's and the ones at the top are kind of like, yeah, there was meant to be them reaching up and moving him up that shaft of light.
I'd
So
have to look into it, but I think the scarab in Egyptian culture represents like everlasting life or
that's
eternal.
true. That's true. That's very true. Yeah, these are kind of great.
Beautiful, beautiful, Brian.
Anyway, I'm really happy that you came to share space with me tonight, and I'm looking really forward to some. Oh, before we get off into the numbers part of it, you and I were talking right before Thanksgiving this year, and we were kind of finalizing our our agreement to get together and do the show. And it was such a really good call, and I felt great about it. And it was going into the first holiday sort of season, since my son passed. And I was like, how's that gonna like work? And I just got this feeling right after we hung up the phone to go outside. And I walked over, opened up the front door, and this is what greeted me. 180 degrees, 180 degrees. And when I originally saw this was a triple rainbow, which you can still sort of see the second one out there. The third one was in between these. And when I first saw it, like I've seen one triple in my whole life when I was really young. And this one was like just crazy with the light beams and the glowing colors. The colors, like this picture does not even begin to do the intensity of it. And I was gobsmacked. I couldn't even do anything for a while because I was like, oh my God, that is so amazingly beautiful. And by the time I finally got my camera, a lot of it had faded. Yeah.
That is so bright, though. That is so still just wow. What time of day was it?
Wow, we talked. I guess it was still sunlight. So I guess it's about 4. It was November. It was like just a couple days right before Thanksgiving. So it was 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And here you can really kind of see the skeleton of the second and the third one down there too, which is just really super fun. What a magical thing. Lynn did a show a couple weeks ago and talked about rainbows and what they do, and like even talking to someone supposedly about a triple, even talking to them is like passing on a blessing. So I pass on that blessing and that joy and that sign that everything. And that was like my son. It was like your conversation and mine. It was like ultimate confirmation on that. And it was like my son was like, just chill, Dad. Everything's going to be all good and it's going to be cool. And it was, man. The holidays I just rode through like gangbusters. It was really great. Anyway, I wanted to share these because they take my breath away and share some good blessings. And I hope it passes on to all of you guys.
I love your capturings and your artwork, and it's just they're breathtaking. So I'm happy to observe and just be like, tell me the story, tell me the feelings, tell me about the energy. They're just so meaningful and gorgeous.
You guys, you and Jennifer. Oh, by the way, make sure you stick. Are you doing the love show tonight?
Yeah, Nancy's going to be on as a guest for Jennifer for the love show. So it's right after this.
Awesome. Yeah. So make sure you stick around for this. And you and Jennifer did a really great show a couple of weeks ago and got really in depth about numerology. I was just kind of over the top about it. It was like, yeah. And you brought a couple of really new like perspectives I had heard about, but I didn't really think about, like that attitude thing. I've been trying that out and it's like so good, man. It's like really great. What a great little tool. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. It's a little power, packs a punch. It seems small, but it's mighty.
I love those. I love those extra windows in. So on that note, you guys were on the love show and really talking about relationships and how to like, how do you know whether you're vibe or not? And you did a masterful job of like taking that apart and showing why that works. And have one I want to pass on to you now. That this is something I've been using for a long, long time. Hang on, let me get it up here. All right, let me make this a little bigger. There we go. All right, so I just pulled out a couple of names out of my head, right? So the idea here is, figuring out somebody's whole chart. Excellent way to like see about the compatibilities and where there's going to be friction and where things flow really good. But another aspect of that is like, what would the final outcome of that union sort of be? So, the way I do that is to take the name, both names, and cross out all the letters that duplicate, and just leave yourself with just the letters that are just singles. So that's the TWNJCP. So you add those all together, you get insight in just the individual letters, like you were doing, and like what's there. Like there's only one even number in that whole spread. It's all odd numbers. And then you add that together and you get a number that sort of gives you indications into what's the result of this thing. And like in this particular case, it just happened to be, this is a really great number. Yeah.
So, yeah, tell me more about this. So they have 5 of energy amongst themselves that is not duplicated. So how do you see that playing out with dynamics when you've done this for people?
Well, this to me says I'm not really looking so much at the dynamic of what's happening. The methodology that you were using does that really, really great. It kind of like takes it apart. You see strengths and weaknesses in the individuals, but also in how they would work together. But this sort of like is the end result of that. Like if we get together and we spend this time and this energy working on this relationship, what's the outcome of that? And in this case, it's 23, which reduces to a 5. And it's the number leads you to fame, honor, and materials gain. And so that would be a pretty good indication that these two people would be really prosperous and fruitful together. So that's just another weird little jag to look at everything with, So
Cool. Yeah. No, I like playing around with different rules. Like I'd be very intrigued to have fun with that. And yeah, like 5 is a number of change, so they would definitely bring out a lot of aspects in each other where they would feel the relationship was one of growth, whether it ended well or not well. It would be a relationship of tremendous growth for them.
Yeah, but the 23 in there would really indicates that it's a very successful number, a very materially successful number. Hey, what's up, Arnie? Good to see you. Interesting thing on what's going on coming up. ET in the whole. Yeah.
Whole enchilada.
Yeah. Vivian, really great to see you. Hey, I've been wanting to ask you, like Kilauea is just going off. Like I've been seeing some amazingly beautiful images. Do you ever go over there and shoot some images? Yeah, I'd love
Vivian in Hawaii.
Yeah, Vivian lives in Oahu, I think. Yeah.
Vivian needs to. I mean, you encouraged Kim to play around with her artistic skills. I'd like to see Vivian take a crack at it too in a different fashion. I'd be very intrigued.
Michael Zen, good to see you. And yes, my friend, 23 is your number. Yeah. Oh, big time.
I would I would love to hear how that's his number. I don't know his birthday offhand.
I can't remember whether that, I think that's his soul number. I break my
Oh,
numerology readings down into 4 numbers. You do the birth date, which is for me the life lesson number, and that's the lessons that you sort of chose that'll spiral around and get more opportunities to see whether how you've done on them. And those, that's kind of a recurring lifelong thing. Then I break the name down into vowels and consonants, and the vowels represent the soul number. And for me, that represents like the deepest you, like the you that only you and God know. And then the consonants represent your outer personality number, and that's the you wear on the outside to go through the world. And then the destiny number is the combo of all of those letters. So super simple. And then for people over 30, 35, the combo of your life lesson and your destiny kind of like provide this number, I call the power number. And it really, it's pretty intense. It's pretty clear too. Like when I see that number pop up for me, I know to go for it. And every single time it's spot on, man. So yeah, I
you
love
do.
numbers. They never lie.
They're pretty consistent, so that's nice. They're very helpful. I will say they glow in different ways for different people. Like
Yeah.
1-5 on somebody, they might have tendencies, but like how can I put it? Like if you were to say like I'm just gonna make something up. Like archetypically, like that the number 5 reminds me of hot chocolate, like a really good hot chocolate. Well, some people's hot chocolate is going to be more vanilla based. Other people's hot chocolate might be like a mocha hot chocolate. It's not the same hot chocolate. One's going to, be really marshmallowy. One's going to be really sweet. One's going to be really bitter, but it's still hot chocolate. And so you have to learn about the different aspects of hot chocolate. And so like one time, to be specific, I was doing a reading and somebody had a 5, and a 5 in a certain placement lets people experience like a lot of different varieties of partners and friendships. But as soon as I looked at her number in my my ear, my own higher self said, hey, she's not quite like that. So I knew, even though she was like very much a 5, she was an introvert, and she was very much like one to come late out of her shell, and she didn't like a lot of attention. So I had to dig into other parts of the 5. So I was like, oh, not there. All right, somewhere else, but we're still in the 5. But yeah, like, so I do Pythagorean numerology just like you, but we do ours like a little bit differently, but very similar at the same time, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, I guess it just depends on who you like. I've studied a lot of different numerology methods, but the one I originally learned is the one I always like go to. It's the one that seems like really ingrained. It's kind of like what magic showed up and gave me like originally was my core stuff, like runes. Like, man, I got a set of runes long before I knew anything about what that was. And I've still used them constantly. They're just part of your fabric after a while.
I would love to see.
You mentioned numbers glowing. I was going to ask you about this. Someone that I was learning from a while ago did this exercise with me, with sitting in a dark room and holding up fingers that represented the number of whatever it was, from 1 to 9, right? And the exercise was to see what energy was happening, like not what the finger was, or be like you couldn't. It was too dark to see what she was holding up. But like when she did a 1, like I'm getting this projection, like. And when she did a 2, I got this kind of like curly Q thing, like it, and the three sort of built into this pyramidal sort of shape. And it was crazy the way that like they really literally have energetic vibrations that you can tune into and see. And that kind of changed, like it stopped being like numbers like you think about accounting, and they became alive to me in a really real way. Do you look at it that same way?
I like feel them in a way where I can experience that. I haven't played around with my sight with numbers as much. Like if I meditate, I can have a association with them, and I can have like pictures and a multi-dimensional experience. But I almost don't do that enough, because when I have done it, I go, I want to work more with this. And it's like, that I guess I get distracted by all the stuff that's there. Like when something really hits you in the face and you go, wow, number one is red. Whoa. Whoa. But then if you sometimes go, ooh, number one is red, purple, and white, you go, there's a lot going on here. Maybe I'll come back to this. So I've had those experiences, and I go with the color department and the number department. I'm so distracted by so many things. I think it's I I need to strip it down. I think that's like a lot of things with energy. Sometimes you can't even describe it because you need time with it, and other things you can go, oh, this is really clear, this concept for me. But if I were to be teaching it, I would say, hey, like one is a very fiery vibration. It has a very warm sensation to it. So I know that energy, and I could talk about why that is. But right, for the one itself, I have to deep dive down that lane a little bit more for the color aspect.
It's
I
a
hope that
it's,
makes sense.
yeah, perfect sense actually. It's a really great dive.
Mm-hmm.
I really love it. So I wanted to ask you, in your own personal practice, I know you're always learning and growing, and what's your next interest? What are you thinking about right now? What's happening in your own personal practice?
Well, I think that I'm trying to get my head on straight a little bit with my personal practice. We go through different waves of how we are with energy, of our own personal nature, and of the furtherment of our own skills, our development. And I think like with Sacred Spiral, I'm creating this balance in the system where I feel like I'm being ripped apart to transform, but not being ripped apart, so much where I don't regenerate. So I'm in the energetic understanding of my stretching my limits and allowing my brain to come with me. And as I'm growing, not to forget the things that I've once learned while I'm learning the new stuff. So I've been wanting to journal much more, and remember things. I do have practices that I just use regularly. So something that I do that always helps me, like, so I can give you, is I'll do like body scans, and I will go, okay, like physically, why is this coming up? Or physically, as I feel it, emotionally, what does this represent? And can I guide it out easily? So I play around with how energy sits in my body, feels within my body, understanding the conception and inception, understanding if it's mine or somebody else's. And so it gets me really good with working with people's energy in general, because I know mine very well as I'm understanding how people are influencing me. So I'll meditate with that in walking motion, or when I sit down and I just scan my body. And that helps me psychically a lot. Within numerology, I worked psychically a lot with numerology. So when I am thinking about somebody, it could just be they come to my mind, or I'm remembering what somebody represents. It could be emotionally or their life story. I'll recount their numbers with what I know about them, and I go, "Oh, that's teaching me more about the energy of this." Got it. Like, so I'll do a lot of reviews, like in my head. My head kind of
Yeah,
is like this.
that's great. That's great work.
Yeah, what's like the librarian with like that little roll with all the like the information on it. Like, I'll spiral my roll and I'll go like, remember this, and that really helps me to get stronger. But then I find if I don't write things down and go back to them, because there's so much, that I'll be like, oh gosh, I hope I don't forget this, forget that. I think there's too much going on, so I want to refine it. And get stronger. That's where I am right now. I'm getting ripped apart, but I'm getting stronger. But it's really messing with my head.
I think that's a recurring, like, I don't think that ever goes away. I think as soon as you get it ripped apart, you put it back together, you're ripping it apart and putting it back together again. I think that's
I
just
I
the
think
nature
you're
of
right.
evolution. I really do.
I think you're right. I just it feels a little bit more difficult for something that I've made so much easier. So I'm at the precipice of, I don't know, figuring something out.
Well, if you ever want any energy goodies, or like, I would love to do some energy practice with you at some time, and
Oh, I would love
wake
it.
that part of you up. And we could send each other stuff through the, yeah. I'll send a marble over there and you could send a marble back. That'd be really crazy fun.
Well, you're making me think of the things that I do now, like for a minute, right? But no, I would love to. One of the energy practices I do, gotta laugh at life, is when I'm doing scanning for myself or someone, when something's not supposed to be in a certain way. So it's very much like healing and psychic work, um, and visual work and feeling work. I will gather up the energy that doesn't need to be there, and I will use objects, and objects will change, or sometimes new ones will come in. But I will use energetic objects like magnets, or I'll use colors to gather up energy and net it and like send it up. So like I
Nice.
use a lot of red, where like the strength of the red pulls the energy that is really heavy, and or I'll work with polarity, where things will reflect or magnetically attach, so I have to do less work. So I'm always like playing around with what's the strongest energetic signature where I can get this over here, because that doesn't need to be there. It doesn't seem like it's helping anybody.
Yeah.
So I play around with that. It's very Green Lantern. Does anyone know about Green Lantern, where they imagine things and they can create
I know
right?
about the Green Lantern. Yes, absolutely.
That's real in the energetic healing world. It's real.
Absolutely, it is. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff on the energetic world that people think is just imagination, that absolutely is real in that frequency. And let
It's
me say hi to
100%.
hi to some people. A bunch of people have shown up. Vivian, go to Kilauea, man. You live close to Kilauea. I know you're on another island, but go get some pictures. That's an amazing, like, this is a once in a lifetime like spectacle happening with this thing. Yeah, Mr. Zen. Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Happy birthday to Arnie, by the way. I see that in the
Yeah,
comments.
happy birthday to Arnie, and happy birthday to Ashley Page. It's her birthday today. So welcome, and happy to have you at the show. Cosmic
There's
Currents, different silence set of numbers on other dimensions from the ones we have here. I don't think there. Great question. Um, I think that's the thing to me. Like, at least the manifest universe is constructed out of numbers, letters, and sounds. And I think that those frequencies, whether they're drawn in different ways, I think those same frequencies exist throughout. That's just my opinion. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like knowing those numbers helps you get to that frequency. When you know that frequency and you know what that little combo of energies are for the key for that, then you get to ride there and go there. And different rules. I mean, like time is like, time is non-existence once you get out of this zone, and you start going into some of the more elevated areas. Time works in a really different way in a really crazy zone. So great question, Colin.
I think that all roads like lead to the same place, and if it's similar energy, like you're gonna vibe with what you need to vibe with. It's like there's certain people that you meet and they come from different backgrounds or they're of different ages, but if you operate on the same frequency, all of a sudden you just understand each other. And it could be like, even if you don't speak the same language, like through empathy, you'll understand a person. You're just in sync. I do think there's some interesting crossovers. So with like numerology, I've had to really go, there's so much that I still have yet to understand, and I have to like sit with it more, because like it or not, one part of numerology is based on language principles, and it's based on Germanic and Latin principles, the English language. So if you try to translate Pythagorean numerology over to Japanese or like Chinese numerology, more specifically, it gets really convoluted, and I've noticed that the crossovers are not so flowing.
No, that doesn't work.
It doesn't work very easily. I've tried so someone has given me their like Japanese name and characters broken down into the English translation, and I don't find that things are in sync as much as I like. I've practiced and played around with things. I'm like, so they're just like Colin. I just want to bring that up because there's a language barrier. Just like we might have a number barrier.
Yeah, but you know what? I think math is the language of the universe, and I think numbers and math are the language of the universe that transcends, however, culturally or whatever entity frequency those. I think that's still the language of the universe.
Ultimately, it transcends, but like I think we have to go to numbers first. Before we go to the language first. If our language is being broken down into numbers and we're basing the numbers off of where we want to get to in a language sense, I do think there's limitations rather if we just look at more of the numbers. And right, I do think, like you said, frequency trumps everything, and numbers are much more closer to that than language is. So.
Let's see.
Michael is a Scorpio. And I was wondering if you were.
I didn't say hello. How are you? Glad you could make it. Always love to see you, my darling. Kay Weezy, good to have you with us as well. We're rocking through the show. So I would love, are you up for doing readings?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hey, yeah. I was reading the comments for a second.
Well, yeah. we won't do a meditation tonight, but I do want to create some sacred space and just connect our energy and get together, and then we'll dive in. Yeah, Tammy Joe, I see 11 11 2 2 12 12.
Yeah, you just guide me, Brian. You just let me.
Here we go. We're gonna make some sacred space here. With the radiant light of the source, we vanish and clean this space. We make this place pure. With the brilliant, radiant light of the source, banish, clean this space. We make this place pure. Ah, man, they're here in force tonight with the brilliant, radiant light of the source, the true light. The true light. We banish and clean this space. We make this place pure. We come together in joy to create our sacred circle, our place of safety and sanctuary and brilliant, radiant light. We ask that our angels, our guides, and allies be with us this evening and share their wisdom, their knowledge, and their love of the source. We ask that we have eyes to see, ears to hear, and the wisdom to understand. And with absolute gratitude for all of it, the good, the bad, and especially the ugly. Infinite unconditional love and our wish for bliss to the source. We open our circle. So I pulled 3 cards for the group right before the show, and just wanted to share those with you guys before we get started. First card is the universe, which is the place where you've gotten your skills, you're ready to go march and take on whatever challenges and adventures you want to go have. The chariot, which is about a single-minded focus on the goal. It's like going after the holy grail, and with that single-mindedness, you're assured absolute victory. And the last card, the 10 of Pentacles, which is the wealthiest card in the entire deck. And this card is about wealth and abundance that doesn't go away. It's the wealth that you can leave and share and grow on. And just like you got all the skills, focus on the goal, keep going, and the wealth and abundance will come. So there you go. That could not have been any crazier. Wait here. No, go back to that one for a second.
Okay. Right.
All our frequencies, so I believe it's about resonance, and a certain resonance creates a key. Yes, absolutely. All right, Miss Brickel. I know like lots of people have shown up to get to take advantage of your vision. So I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, okay. So I'm first. All right.
Well, you're the spiral goddess. I love that name, by the way. You're going to be the spiral goddess for me forever.
It's a lofty title. I am honored. Thank you.
You quite live up. What's up, me and my shadow?
Thank you.
What's up, Lynn?
Fellow king of the stars and telekinesis. All right. Let's see here. So whoever's open to receive a reading, just let me know. It will help me kind of just be pulled to you, to go to you. Okay? If you have a question, please let me know. If not, I'm just going to read a general. That's just how I work. I will ask how you would like to be worked with. Right?
Keep going, Kim. Stay on the goals. Keep your eyes on the prize and don't let anything get in your way.
Chariot. Okay, I guess we're going to Kim then. you're gonna help me with Kim. You were like, you helped me go. Zing. I'll go to Linda Martin afterwards. So I was connected to Linda earlier, and then I'm gonna open up the space with Kim. So Kim, do you have a question? And then Brian, if you want to tag team, you can let me know, or we can trade off. We can bounce around.
I'll pull some cards in the background. If I feel spunky, I'll dive in. But
I love it. Kim, so let me know. General then? I'm going to start you off with the general, but you let me know if you have a question. Okay. So let's see what's coming up for Kim. Just so many things I want to do. I'm looking at cards, but I'm also looking at her energy. So I'm taking a moment. Okay, so one thing that comes in right away is like Kim is like the need for like a deep breath, the need to actually slow down and write out what you've accomplished already. Okay, because I feel like you're in this momentum of creating, and whether or not that journey is figured out, you know that you're expanding, and you know that like you're in this place where you're like, okay, I feel like I can do this now, I can do that now, and to encourage you to continue to go forward and to make it more satisfying, because it's like if we're not like happy while we're walking in our dreams and actively like getting our goals, then after a certain time, it's kind of like you go, well, what's the point of everything? You start like looking at the whys, and it gets like into an existential like, whoa, I thought I was, I thought I was awake, and now, yikes, what's all this stuff? And you're saying, ooh, yes. Okay, so let me know if you can resonate. Let me know, okay? And so, like, the remedy for some of that is writing down what you've accomplished, and it will give peace to your soul. And you're like, wow, I've already arrived. I guess continue to be happy rather than searching for it. Like you've already found some of your happiness. Like please know that. So I just feel like I'm being hard on myself, and I have to take a deep breath to be kind to my body, to slow down my body, and to feel good in my body. So there's like a lot of heavy themes here about needing to do more, wanting to do more, and not allowing yourself to release, and also not giving yourself enough credit, even though you've been doing awesome stuff. You will give yourself credit, but then you're quick to go like, well, it doesn't need to be talked about that much. So continue to let yourself shine. Continue to let yourself shine. I can continue going. I'm going to hand it over to Brian, though, for a moment. Yes.
So this is the magician, the Magus card, and this is the Magus card of the earth, the body. So it's about like manifesting and opening up and waking up your skills, and just have patience. We've had this talk before, man. You've got a lot of stuff like that you want to do. Just try not to do them all at once. Pick the one that has the most heart for you at the moment. Stay on that path for a little bit, and just give yourself and enjoy the ride. It should not be laborious, and you've got like the most backing for your own magical explosion to happen. So that's energy way around you, and take advantage and ride that wave. Yeah.
Absolutely. You have good support around you, and like have fun with the ascension. So like this card came in that I really want to like show you, that I think is like so beautiful and pretty. It's like rainbow light, and like you're beaming up. You're like this antenna of greatness, and it feels amazing. It's just like enjoy the ride. Like this is a roller coaster, awakening, and enjoy the ride. And it's okay that everything hasn't unified. You're still kind of like, how does this go together? And how am I gonna? I feel like, how am I gonna make money? But also like, how with what I'm working on, how then can I apply it further? And I just feel like the answers will showcase themselves. Like, don't just work, just work from the heart, and it will come together. they'll just be like, oh, I guess we're going this direction now, rather than like, I really have to figure it out. Like, if I'm going to be serious about this, I really have to figure it out. I feel like inspiration will come naturally, and also friends, the more friends you make, they're going to help inspire you and pave the road, so you're not in this alone. And please, the number one message I'm getting is, do not do this alone. You're not in this alone. Just do it and enjoy it. Yeah, the just doing it, like with the answers that you seek, like they'll come as they need to. Brian, is there anything else?
No, I think we should go on to somebody else.
Okay. I was drawn to Linda. You can pick somebody next, and I'll go to Linda after. So it's totally up to you.
All right. Well, Vivian asked for an angel card, so I would love to accommodate her on that. Let me get my little. All right. All right, Vivian, you know the drill. 3 really nice deep breaths. Words of wisdom from my good friend Vivian. Words of wisdom from my good friend Vivian. Words of wisdom from my good friend Vivian. Ha! My birthday card.
Oh.
Yeah, let me get this out. The Angel of Intellectual Talent, number 31. One of my favorite cards, too, by the way. You'll like this one, Vivian. Let's see here. Here we go. We are constantly evolving, and reality around us is always changing. Staying healthy and whole requires constant change. Be like water and remain flexible, versatile, and adaptable. Some situations will call on all your energy just to keep going, hoping for things to get better. The habitual nature of your routine can give you a false sense of security. It can become a comfortable lie. All great masters were apprentices first. You must be willing to undergo an apprenticeship to learn and acquire your mastery. Only then will you be recognized. You do things you have a passion for